Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Avant Novus. My name is Dan. Today we're going to be continuing a map we started about 3 weeks ago, I believe it was. We're going to be focusing on landforms, mountains, and everything else. We kind of played with a couple of new things, a couple of new techniques, and we want to continue to do that, see if that can work for this map, give it kind of a new look. If not, we'll just go back to the old way. We'll find out really soon. We're going to be using ArtRage 5, and we're going to be just on our PC and just hammering this out. It's going to be kind of a long process, so just sit back and watch. We're also going to, throughout this entire process, we're going to be making notes on stuff, on what we're doing and how we're doing it. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, here's the previous. Actually, let me pull up the previous really quick. This is the previous map we did. We kind of filled in some of these mountains areas. It's kind of the same technique we've used for a while now, and I kind of wanted this time around. I wanted to do something a little bit different. We've got these wonderful pens from from Tabletop RPG, and I wanted to see if that can help us make this land a lot bigger. There's a couple videos of us, creating these, but I felt like I wanted to see kind of how we can go a little bit more crazy with one of these maps. Give it a more sense of style, more sense of scope, bigger, etc. So to do this, I'm actually going to put a new, well, first off, size of what we're working here. We're using print size. We're looking at a 36 inch by 24 inch with a pixel resolution of 450. Everything there is so that you can blow it up quite big or scale it how you want. Because this is a little bit bigger, actually about the size of Asia and mainland. Yeah. Well, China goes all the way down. Now this would be probably from the U.S. in the world about 5,000 feet by 2,000 feet or so. Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you, distributional. And let's go ahead and get started here. I've created another layer. I'm going to go in and I'm keeping it on a very high contrast color to see where I'm putting these. I'm doing good. Good to see you. And we're just going to start. Oops, I think I just deleted that layer, and I really don't want to do that. We're going to start laying out these mountains, um, kind of willy nilly, kind of get a feel for it. The hard part with these alpha channels is that because our rage is so literal, um, with these brushes, we have to. Oh, please tell me to kill it. Might kill it. Oh well, Steam running is probably not the best idea right now. Checking out the new Substance Painter. There we go. We're going to put we have an alpha channel with the brushes. We're going to apply it over on this layer, and then we are going to, from there, see if we can get this kind of, the harsh part with this map is going to be able to show how big it is and how far reaching this one is. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of choosing some random mountain placement. We're using this as a stamp, not really a brush, but actually a stamp in ArtRage. So I'll put down like a couple of these. Excuse me, sorry. And make another one there. How you been, distributional? Glad you're with us on stream today. It has been a long time. It's got medical stuff in the family, and I'm just getting over really went to the dentist, and they were taking care of an issue from another dentist, and lo and behold, someone there apparently had a cold or something and gave it to me, and I got really, really sick. So I'm a little upset about that. Ooh, I like that one right there. Really like that one. Now, a couple things that I'm going to point you to is online tabletop RPG. He made a good deal of these brushes we're going to be using today. and I don't think he does this wonderful tutorial series on how to make these kind of brushes. Please, please, please check it out. Tabletop RPG, and make sure that yeah, if your Patreon is his, please, please, please support that guy. He's a wonderful guy. It's very awesome to work with, and he's actually troubleshooted a lot of stuff for me with between Photoshop. I don't speak Photoshop too well, but he definitely does. Yeah, we're just adding these little tiny mountains here and there because we're working with such a high resolution. We want to make sure that there's consistency in placement. So we're going to have to shrink these brushes a lot. Down here, I'm shrinking since we're working at 450 dpi. At 350, it's 450. Let me just bust the calculator out because I don't want to do the math. So if we're at 300% of 450, we're at, that's our pixel size. That yeah, no, that's right. So this is huge. Oh, happy birthday, Distributional. Big time. Glad you are here at stream. In fact, would you like a map for your birthday present? I have some on Drive Through RPG. I'd love to throw a couple at you if you'd like, just as a birthday present, and also thank you for support. Because I can. What I'm going to do with these brushes after, let's get another one. After this, I'm going to fill these up. These are going to be the basis for my mountains. Let's actually hold off on that guy right there. A little bit of shameless plug for Drive Through RPG. Of course, I haven't had time to get anything done on it for a very, very long time. Get a couple little more mountains in the. We've already kind of planned this one out. So just a really quick recap. Let me bring up our. This is where, yeah, let me increase this. This is where we've been roughly planning out where the map is. These dark red lines are the continents. Green lines are the movement of the winter. Movement of patterns of the wind. Hot up to the north, cold down south. We're kind of looking where the mountains are holding off the clouds and where things get, kind of crazy and stuff with weather. Make sure it's semi-accurate. This is actually, I'm glad you're back. This is actually the big map. I came back to it. I had some requests and tried a couple new things, but this one needs to be done sooner than later. And so I'm just, today and for the next couple days, I'm going to be focusing quite a bit on getting this map done. We have a kind of a big playtest reveal because we just got done with another stage of our RPG that we're going to move into a new campaign, new characters. All right. So we kind of got we have these mounts here. Now we're going to go and really mess these up here in a second. There we go. Cool thing about these alpha mountains that we're using, it really gives a incredible feel to the size that we want to project on this map. So I've been doing a lot of experimenting with this stuff to see if I, see what kind of tool I can make out of it. Get rid of that right there. All right, this is a good starting spot. This will be our first layer. What we're going to do now is lock the layer. With ArtRage, it creates a real-time embossing effect with the lighting options. To do that, it's just what you see, what you get. The light's coming in at a 45-degree angle from this side. There's ways to put it in different sizes, but that means you move the panel. It's a little more complex. I put those. The question asked in chat is um, the chaotic shapes, the new colors. It is kind of. I put these in there so I can see exactly where that alpha channel is. This next step is I'll go into the layer options and change the blend mode to add, and then grab a dark gray. Well, let's go with that. Get one of our massive brushes. Just start adding paint to where these were. Actually, this part of it, I'm going to come in with that blue. I think I'm going to get a better, right off the bat, we're just going to go with our glitter brush. There we go. Yeah, this is a little bit new technique. I made a couple videos on how to make these brushes. Yun from uh, Tabletop RPG has a whole series on this, and he is amazing. And some of these brushes are his, some of these brushes are mine. But you guys can kind of see what's going on there with those mountains. I really dig it. And then it's a combination of using these alphas and going in and still molding the mountains to how I want them. And you guys can hear I'm actually using the mouse instead of a stylus, because the mouse is going to give me a lot more control over exactly where I'm throwing stuff. I do not like this, what that happened there, so we're gonna nuke the crap out of that. Do not like it. The stylus, we'll add some more stuff there. It's kind of hard because you have to get just the right amount of opacity on these. That's kind of something I was going to focus on with some of these videos, is how you can. I had a wonderful high school teacher that uh, made it a point to teach us not only what to learn, but how to learn and how to develop skill sets. And I use those every day in like software, anything like that. Okay, we like that transparency. Go back to our modeling phase of this. And we're just placing a lot of mass in those alpha channels. Kind of focusing the glitter just kind of in random spots. We're gonna break that up a little. Looks like I got a brush there that is not my friend, so we're gonna find where that brush is, and we're gonna just get rid of it because it's messing up my thing. We don't want these really straight lines. Really dark. I like this guy here. See if we got any more kicking around. Probably do someplace. There we go. Again, we're going to back in. Let's get rid of this. Lock this channel. Back in. Never mind. Don't lock it down. It's a little bit bigger. I like this one a lot, actually. It's a little too. I'm being very cautious with these brushes right now, just for the fact that this is a newer technique and I'm dipping the toe in and trying to integrate two styles. But I won't. Usually I found that being scared of a different style is not good, so we're just going to go for it. As I say that, I'm like freaking out a little bit. I need something different. Let's get another little note there. So yeah, finding the things I like, adding them, modifying them. The last couple of months, our little community on Avant Novus on Facebook and also online has exploded, and it's actually made me a very, very good. I've kind of come leaps and bounds with where I once was when it comes to the art, and I really appreciate that. So if you're watching this, and you know, thanks for the support, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys are doing good. Tabletop RPG's down in Spain doing his photo shoots, which I'm really jealous about. He's good peeps. Yeah, definitely agree with you. There is a lack of control with the alphas, the little alpha brushes. But going in there, what I found with a couple other maps is that you can go in there and edit the crap out of them. It's just kind of the starting spot for mass for the mountains, and then we can just keep on building it and building it or taking away if we need to. But it just gives you a really cool peak variety. You're just kind of throwing it down a little bit in, just kind of willy nilly where you feel like it. But it also kind of gives you a different place to start in. Let's go ahead and throw it down there. There we go. All right. Yeah. Again, it does look kind of interesting, but we'll get into that a little later. Now, also, you're getting a lot of high definition between the blue and the brown. So we're going to actually go fix that right now. We're just going to grab a gray, and put some metallic in there, go with our brush, and we are very, very, very not going to put too much pressure in this, but a lot of opacity. And let's do them both. We'll just bust this out really quick. Your airbrush with a lot of pressure and a lot of opacity will kind of cut these down. The color, anyways. And also drive the paint a little bit down, so we'll have to go over this with another gray to kind of fix it, which is fine. At least we kind of know where things are, but it's also going to blend a lot better. Still going to keep a little bit of blue in there just until the really dark parts on the mountains, it means that I've added too much mass into it. So we're going to have to go and cut those down a little bit. Get too much of an alpha and you apply too much stuff in it, you get that kind of look. But again, taking this really slow, writing down exactly what I'm doing, writing down exactly the size of tool brushes I use. I've been trying to keep to a consistent palette with ArtRage to make sure that the colors are all the same. This is one continent out of three. And what we're going to do is take this, put it into Google Maps, create a 3D globe. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to go and grab some gray. We're going to go a little bit lighter with this. There we go. Get some more there. Now that I know where stuff is, I can choose whether or not I want to use the full alpha, like that right there. Definitely don't want to use all that. Like right here, I do. So what we just did is more of a suggestion than an actual thing we're going to keep in the map. Like right here, I really dig this range. I really like this range. There we go. Very western, eastern United States. Yeah, definitely. And that's another thing we found when I did a Badlands map a while back that we used the higher elevations. I used stuff from the Rockies, lower elevations. Actually, used stuff from the Appalachian Mountains. That was fun. Okay, let's have a look here. I like this, but I don't like this. This guy right here. All right, let's go. Let's go into instant blur, and we're going to now I'll play with this so it pops a little bit better. This is going to cut down on all the noise that we made with that glitter brush. See that right there? I just adore. This one, not so much. This one, a lot. Oops. Too far out. If we find, with this technique, if we find something we don't like, we can always go and change them. Like these brushes that are really have a very high amount of between between the alphas. And I believe they're my brushes. I need to make sure that when I create them, I'm going in and setting that there's not so much variation in height. When you look at them up close, they're great. When you look at them far away, it's a little problematic. Yeah, we'll get in there and fix some stuff. What I'm probably going to do, I'm going to lay out another. I mean, all I'm going to be doing is laying layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. All these. Till I get what I want. The next set is, these are probably going to be the peaks. The really big peaks and stuff. The very highest of the mountains. The reason I'm getting that green is my background layer to this canvas color to this right now is a green. So I'm just going to go and fix that real quick. It's kind of a cool effect though that you can change your, really get into this, you can really adapt your lower layer color to higher layer color. Save time in coloring. Gotta have a good idea of where things are what. Let's go in and make another layer here. Oops. And this one we are going to again go into layer options, going into blend modes. We're going to hit add, and we're going to come back to these brushes. Now these, I'm going to try to stick with a couple that I found I really like in this. And again, we're going to change this to blue. And we're going to reduce, this one I like. The one I'm currently working with I like. I just got to be careful of not using it too much. So we're going to change this guy to about 250. All it needs is just a little tap. And this is how I'm going to get those peaks. Maybe combine and mesh some of these together. Again, this is on a layer above these. I'm probably going to eventually, once we start filling these out, I'm going to drop this specific layer underneath this. Just keep it up here so it's not getting, I can see exactly where it's going, what it's doing. Oops. Huh. For crims, let's just try that up with this peninsula. Actually use this as a brush. Kind of intrigued. Just hoping for a happy accident. Oh, and that was a happy accident. That wasn't. Actually, no, that was not a happy accident. I do not like that. Go ahead and get rid of that. Stay with me. There we go. Alright, go back to our brushes. Unlock this layer. More in there. Oh, not the mouse. Definitely using the stylus in this part to keep control of the size of these. I've gone with the brushes and kind of put my own little custom spin on how they respond in ArtRage. Let's go ahead and come back here and look at these. Now this technique also works with the other techniques, they usually do quite well. Because you can actually, the nice thing about ArtRage is that with that add layer, it allows you to, you're actually just adding to the layer underneath it. And you don't have one superseding the other, which I really dig. Let's unlock that layer. Gotta find that gray we were using. Go in, add mass. Now, at a certain point in this, we're going to have to start making sure everything looks like, instead of having these really, these bunches of mountains. There we go. I'll show you how I do that here in a few minutes. I actually use our other technique that in all the other videos, the process of laying down mass and making it bigger. Actually use that here once we merge all these together, if we like this. This is a little bit heavier process, and there's a hurry up and guess if it's going to work or not, but it's having its moments. You do get this rather clumpy feel when using this in ArtRage. So you do have to realize it's going to take. It's great for adding noise. It's not great for when you're planning out something specific. You're doing something specific, check out the other videos. This is kind of me just getting a feel for something I want to do and refining the technique more than anything else. All right. Question is, do I like that? So what we're going to do now is this bottom layer. This guy here, we're going to, this is actually, let me turn off these layers so you guys can see kind of what I'm talking about here. This bottom layer is the layer that we worked on the other day to get everything looking right. Again, we are throwing around gigabytes of layers. Each one of these layers is about a gig, maybe just 500 or so. Then if we add these mounds into it, start getting this kind of cool little breakup. So I'm going to merge these little layers down. And these two layers are the ones we just did. Yeah, it's going to take a little time. While I wait for that, I'm going to have the obligatory Dr. Pepper sponsor me. Watching like 3 years, someone from there actually sees this. All right. And now that we've merged those, I'm actually going to take my, that's interesting. Yeah, see, I don't like this guy right here. I really don't like that guy. We are just going to unlock that layer, go with a soft eraser, and we're going to just get rid of that because I don't like that. Not too much though. Again, I'm using a very soft eraser so it blends down a lot easier. I get some cool stuff there. And anything else I don't like. All right. For the purposes of blending and just for kicks, we're going to now color this brown like everything else, and see how that feels. I don't know why I always do 2500, but I do. This will also give me a good feel of what I like and I don't like about this. It is a lot more time consuming, it is a lot more patience, but it does give you a different look. And sometimes if you're doing the same old technique again and again and again and again and again, you definitely get into a rut. So you got to mix it up. Improve your tool palette. And you don't ever be afraid of evolving. Something I like about these YouTube videos is, as a personal reference, I do like to go in and just look what I've done and why I did it that way, what I was thinking. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the best. Gotta get in there. There's some spots here with the alpha that has, like right here, these areas that are really dark. I'm gonna have to go in and fix. Actually, I'm doing that right now with just the airbrush and mouse. And we'll go in and we will clean these up a little bit. But I'm getting there. Kind of liking this. There's some tweaking you just got to do and play with. Bill, how you doing, sir? Oh, you assume much that I'm an Earthling. I'm a mole person. Well, wait, what? So, Bill, we're back to this map. I've kind of experimenting with some of tabletop's brushes and some of mine to kind of mix things up. And we're just going in and normalizing stuff, and making sure it looks okay. We're gonna go back to our harsh chaos now and kind of blend a little this more. I am going to unlock the transparency on this so the spreads out. Build. I think this is gonna be the best. Yeah, there we go. Still want those peaks, but this is gonna definitely break it up and give us a relatively similar texture to what we usually do. Now, I do have that other layer under this that we already did. Oh, crap. Check 1, 2. That should be a little better. Sorry about that. Thanks for that. Thanks for the heads up, Bill, on the audio. I used to be working with what we call a Yamaha M7A. It's my weapon of choice when it comes to soundboards, but I don't have the 50 grand I can use one at home. Yeah, sorry about Friday, Bill. I've just given up trying to broadcast on Fridays because it has just been a colossal train wreck every Friday. So yeah, don't love streaming on Twitch though. Get up in the middle of the night when I'm having insomnia issues. I think I like where this is going with this map. Just gives me a little couple high points and low points. I am taking a lot of detail out of these alpha brushes, but I think it's really changing stuff up, and I like that. Let me see here. Is that a little better? Let me get the spectrometer. See where that's going. If I can remember where my spectrometer is. Yeah, I do have something. Let me see if I can identify what's causing that. Is that a little better, guys? Check, check. All right, back into this. It might be. I got way too much electronics gear on my desk right now. I'm working on some new miniatures. Got a really creepy one that I'm working on that I kind of like. Here, I'll show it to you guys what that. Go ahead and open up ZBrush. That's opening up. I'll show you this. Also, I have a very my throat is just torn up. But this guy I did. See if you can see that. Oh, all about a year and a half ago. Kind of this creepy wraith, and we imported it in, and it just didn't look as good with ZBrush. So this is the one I've been working on right now. Let's just switch over to that. Yeah, just kind of some creepy. We're gonna make the arms less. We're gonna make the arms like clawy hands and stuff like that. But make this big wraith coming out of the ground. That was last night's insomnia project. And ZBrush, that's coming out really cool. Give him a big scary head and take his legs and wrap him around. So yeah, that's the new miniature for this week. And we have a shop day tonight. It's gonna be fun too. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's why I have to. There's a couple of reasons why we have to adjust that. I would adjust a little bit more, but I need to get that into a PLA, a plastic, that we can hit up and actually adjust it so it feels right. Um, right now, the hands are definitely kind of in this position. What they need to be going is like, big old bear position or back like that. But yeah, it does look. I realized I was doing it Easter, and I was like, ugh, yeah, not. Don't want to offend anybody, especially myself, with that. There we go. We're gonna have a shop day, get the resin printers, our resin printers fired up, and my production manager, um, co-owner of the business, our little business here, has been out in Hawaii the last week and a half doing a huge project out there. So he's back in town. So we're gonna get the miniature thing moving again. Jesus, with that. Yeah, yeah. All right. Okay, we got some. I'm actually digging this with the mountains. It's definitely put a new twist on stuff. And still got, yeah, I like that. A little bit of inconsistencies there, but I think it's me being very pedantic. I half think that we are good to go with that. Maybe a couple more. Well, that's just for grins and giggles. We're going to do this one more time. We're going to go very subtle. Again, tools, layer options, bumbling modes, add. My brushes. I'm really liking this brush. I'm really digging this brush. Oops. I use too many of the same looking brushes, otherwise people start getting suspicious. This is again all under what we just did. These ones, yeah, I'm liking that. I should log on to the Discord server. Yeah, my voice is really messed up. I again, Bill, got really nasty case of cold from the dentist's office. Got down my tooth, and that was an interesting point in my life. That's all taken care of. There's a life pro tip: if you have a dentist that's over, start My previous dentist, nice guy, sort of, but at a certain age, you just need to try and stop. Hold on, gotta zero this out. Ah, shift, yeah, shift. All right, but apparently, when you get older, you make mistakes, and that's not good. Just add a couple more little things here. Not go too big with these, keeping it all under control. I want a little bit more texture in some of these places. And these are the brushes made by Tabletop RPG. Don't put too many of those in there. Just there. Like that. We're just going to go right for the brown mass on this. Or still be screwed up. There we go. Yeah. I think the key with these brushes is you don't get them with, you don't fill them too much with paint or with mass. Just a little's going to do you just great. Because you also have that noise you have to deal with afterwards. But our next step in this, of course, is to start working on defining the lower parts from the higher parts. I think what we got going here is really working for me. Again, it's not quick, it's not fast, but it's a way to mix things up, which I like. Hey, just out of curiosity for the 5 people in the stream, who still uses miniatures for their like role playing games and stuff like that? Or is it just mainly? I know a lot of people use it online. That's easy to do, but I'm wondering any physical miniatures or anything like that. All right, I like that. That right there, I really like that. Not so much, but well, we want to fix that. Oh, let's see. Is that better? I'm just moving the mic closer. I didn't know it was going to be this bad. I should grab some herbal honey tea or something like that. This term, yeah. There we go. Now, the reason we're doing miniatures is that it's a lot. Once we get the art piece done, we can use it more than one spot. We can animate it in like tabletop RPG or a game simulator. All right, just gonna cut these up a little bit more. And use the mouse for control right here. There we go. Taking that. Let's kind of mess with this a little bit. Stay with me, ArtRage. There we go. Merge these down. Cool. So let's see on how this looks. All right, I think that was successful. Did what I wanted it to do. It gave me a feel for where things are. Gave me mixed up the color, but a little bit better. I like that. I like that, and it definitely up here it's going to be a lot hotter. Down here it's going to be a lot temperate. Down here it's going to be a lot colder. So we've been able to use the. Oh goodness, let me see if I can turn myself up here. I don't want it. No, I really don't want to screw up the noise balance. It took me Took me a while between Windows and OBS. I love the OBS software, but the Windows sound settings are just a joke. So what I'm doing now is I'm just pulling some, shaping the outline of some of the rougher spots on the land. I'm going to start creating low points and high points. And I do want to play a little bit with this. But before I really screw something up, I'm going to delete some of these layers that I don't need. And again, it looks like with my little display thing, they're running about 650 meg. So I'm going to be patient with ArtRage for once. Don't get me wrong, I love the program, but man, I abuse it. Some stuff there. Mountains and hills. Okay. Oh yeah, I remember what I'm going to do now. Gonna make another layer. Gonna make this bright red. Gonna go. This was the other technique I've been kind of playing with it. It's what I used for the Badlands. Um, just kind of an interesting little technique I found. The key though is we're going to be placing these in these small valleys. We're going to use quite a bit of the same. I should use the pen on this. Oh, the same brush. However, we're going to take this brush and we are going to really do some weird stuff with it. But the key is to get as much mass as possible. The more mass on this brush, the better. We're going to do it like we've usually done by adding a Z texture to, well, Z brush, a Z stamp, I guess, to ArtRage, compiling a good amount of paint into that, and then reversing it so it actually cuts into the layer underneath it. But I'm going to make sure I do this in multiple steps. Then we'll go in and blend this, because if you don't, it just looks like a garbage fire. But this is how I did the Badland map when I finally figured out how best to do that. So the low areas of this map is where this is going to be. The hard part is when you get to the edges of the map, you're going to have to be very conscientious about how much space you're actually dissolving from this. I'm even lisping a little. That's okay. Always struggled with that. Just hit all this. Hit all this. Hit all this. And again, this is just the low points on the map we're doing. Gonna go with one of these and then come back with another. Then we'll go in and I'll show you the process. So I'm kind of thinking in reverse that these areas are the lowest, keeping them well away from the mountains. When we add mass to these, though, we're going to put all the mass up near the mountains and make sure that we taper off towards the seabed. Because again, we're dancing around that hot mess. I've got roughly an idea what looks good, but I still need to hammer out the details. But again, it's good stuff. It's good times. For different biomes, though, we're going to use a different brush up there for the deserts. For the cold and the temperate, we're going to kind of keep the same thing going on. Maybe a lot more crags up in the snow areas. Okay, next question for you guys in chat. And welcome chat everybody on stream. I'm sorry I haven't hit your guys' questions. I do apologize, but welcome. who has access to a 3D printer? Just out of curiosity from the 5 or 6 of us in chat. If you do, what do you make with them? I got into 3D printing for set construction, for concept work. Made a lot of stuff with them about 4 years ago. And one of the things we do is we make our own miniatures, and I'm thinking about adding some of those miniatures to like Drive-Thru RPG that people can download and do their own thing with. You broke your. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, those Da Vinci's are kind of. Don't want to bash the company, but I am not a fan of those Da Vinci's too much. Okay, this one we're going to go extra big with. We're going to come in again. We're just going to overlay the same one we just used. That's fine. Let's get this one I really liked. Don't worry about it crossing. If you're doing this technique, don't worry about crossing into the ocean. We'll fix that here in a second. We're just throwing down stuff. If I don't like the way it looks in this layer, the nice thing about this approach is we can always go back and change it. We're basically going to add a lot of mass to this and then flip it on its head so it actually cuts into the layer under it. Brendan on Twitch says he uses 3D printing a lot. A lot of stuff you can print out fast but still looks good. Thank you. Good to see you again, Brendan. Brendan? Am I saying that right? If I'm not, please forgive me. So let's go with that and see what we can do. Okay, again, we're going to lock this well, before we do that, we're going to hide these mountains, hide our lowland, come in here, and we are going to select the negative, the transparency in this layer. Make sure that we're only on current layer. Hold down Control to select all the little spots. Again, ArtRage treats this selection tool a lot differently than most other programs. It's very, except I messed up right there. It's very kind to the selection. However, does take some time because the doubles check that it's not bleeding, which I appreciate. It can get kind of annoying because there's a little bit of a stutter in the delay. There we go. That's a little. I might as well hit these two. At least it's consistent. Come on. Yeah, I clicked on the brown spot, so it's going to have a small heart attack right now. Control Z out of there. The next question: do you guys prefer the ArtRage / Wonder Draft maps, or do you like me just doing these? The Wonder Draft Incarnage, whatever it's called, maps, or should I just stick to the ArtRage maps? Just getting a feel for projects in the future. Okay, we did that, deleted that. We're now going to go in with a very soft brush, a very large brush, and we're going to try and fix a couple things on this. try and keep some of this outside of the. If the reason I'm doing this, if it's the up against the coastlines, it doesn't look good. Kind of creates this weird. I don't know. Best way to describe it is a weird little crazy basin, which we can just easily replicate with a couple lines and the harsh chaos brush. Okay. There's that. I've been getting a lot of requests for ASMR on Twitch, which is driving me absolutely nuts. A couple friends told me I should just do make a map and create a story around it. I think we're gonna experiment with that, just for grins. Because if I have a horrific time sleeping lately, because it's spring, there's allergies. Okay, now that we got this generally planned out how we want, I'm going to take this and get our mass edit into this. Like that transparency, we're going to come in immediately with we're actually going to go with let's go with green. That's good. That's going to work. Right now, we're going to go into our tools, and this is critically important. First, when you do your first mass build, you need to put it on add, like all the others. And you also need to place this over the highest points that you have. So it's the data on ArtRage is what it's saying is it is higher than everything else. If you don't do that, you're going to have this is not going to work. Because you want ArtRage to know that the current data for this layer is it's going to be the highest layer on the map. Okay, like that transparency, we're going to go in with that green. We are going to up that to about 100% there. Not getting very much, we're just getting this in there. Notice how dark that's getting, that's exactly what we want. Actually, I'm almost liking that better than the first mount layer we did. That's all good. So to explore, some to explore a little bit later. I'm using the green so it can show me the difference between what I'm doing and where I'm going. In a second, all this green will be negative, digging into the canvas underneath it. But before we do that, we're gonna take away a lot of the noise on this. And as we go through the map, we're gonna get rid of a good amount of the texture on these. God, actually, really, maybe I just need 2 or 3 brushes on that. Really digging that response I'm getting from it. Hmm. Have to look into that. Either way, though, we're going to do our marching orders here because I don't think people want me to change mid video. I'm going to play with this a little later today, or tonight if I can't sleep. Just a couple here, just a couple here. Okay. Now we're just going to make sure we add as much, since we kind of know where they are now, we're going to add as much possible mass. Usually I wouldn't be doing this, because it looks grody. But in this case, I am going to use a lot of this. Now, if this doesn't work, if this looks funny, we'll just get rid of this. After the last, I did, usually I just go for it. But on this one, I kind of did a couple tests, so I kind of know what I'm looking for. And again, just to go over how I'm doing this technique, we put down a stamp that has a lot of alpha in it, meaning dark to light, light to dark. We then we put this into additive mode in ArtRage, as much mass as in this as possible, and then we go back, we fill it all, and then we go to this next step here. So alpha stamp. After the alpha stamp's done, lock transparency, add your mass as much as possible, and we're going to flip this on its head. All right. Cool. Well, actually, one more thing we're going to do is we're going to enhance the lighting effect on that with the Insta Blur. We're going up to 250. Pressure, let's get about 30 on this. Yeah. Maybe even more pressure. I'm not actually getting, I kind of don't like that. I'm not actually getting much of a change with that. So we'll just run this over a couple times, not go too nasty into it. And let's just go for it. Okay, I'm going out of the layer, going to go up to tools, got layer option. Now that we have that big mass, I'm going to go blend mode, and I'm going to hit replace this time. It's going to take a few minutes, but if you'll notice, I now have these valleys kicking around. I can go in with my blur, go through these, and make it kind of crinkle down. This is how I did all a good amount of the Badlands, but it creates these really interesting little dynamic effects. But you get these plateaus and runoffs that I'm generally really digging lately. We'll go in and refine these, of course, but for the most part, we've got our lowland areas. The rivers and streams and their erosion is going to be the biggest factor on these. And you can kind of also see I've already am getting my little valleys and channels for those into place. I'm going to have to develop quite the collection of brushes that I really like in this. But again, going in and blurring these, it's creating a very interesting and a very eye-catching image. Again, we did use one or two brushes, so we kind of have a little repetition. We'll go ahead and fix those next. The way we would do that, we're going to go with our harsh chaos, actually the hard wet blend, and just very lightly touch on the edge of these river valleys. Maybe we'll just do harsh chaos first and then get in there. But as you can see kind of far away, we've really started. We have these kind of cool river valleys that's going on. Also, if you're doing a height map, we're going to take this into ZBrush, create a height map off of it, and create a three-dimensional piece of earthworks on this. All right. Let's go ahead and get down into harsh chaos. We're going pretty large with this. We're about 500. We are going to pull the pressure and fall off quite a bit. Oh, my bad. I forgot to actually combine these two layers. So we're going to go down We're going to now put this under the mountain layer, so the mountain layer is over this. And we're going to just merge this down, which I'm going to save at this point. And we're going to, once that's done, we will continue on. It's going to take a while to save though. But this way you get some really cool valleys that go into a lot of definition. Then we'll go in and blur everything up here, mesh it, blend it together, and go from there. Dr. Pepper drink. There we go. And again, we're saving about, right now, uncompressed, we're saving about 2.5 gigs of info. And just going on with that. Hope everybody's had a good Easter. We are going to be, to blow steam off, we are going to be jumping back into Vermintide on Twitch. If anybody wants to come play with us, please come. It'll be fun. We're also going to be streaming a lot more ZBrush stuff on Twitch. Maybe a different YouTube channel. I don't know. Just, we figured as much people are interested in it. It's helping some other people. It's creating techniques and ways that people can do their own thing. So if it helps someone, why not share? We'll just keep on going. Other stuff this week, we have another stream on Wednesday at this time, and we have a shop night tonight, so we're going to mess with some printers. We're also going to be messing with painting some more of our models. And in addition to that, we are going to be just anything we do, we're just going to try to share that on the YouTube videos, stuff like that. So hope you tune in and enjoy. Still waiting for ArtRage to save. It's getting there. That 3%, it's kind of nerve-wracking because between 3 and 11% it goes slow, and then boom, it gets done. So just patience. Just a lot of patience. But what we'll do next is we'll go in. There's some high peaks in some of these little river valleys we did. We're going to go in and we're going to blend those out, and then take a brush to them and really, really fade them out like crazy. So distributional, what do you do with yours, maps? I know I've seen them on Roll20, and I really am digging what you're doing. What else are you doing with it? Yep, see, yeah, there it goes. One second, be right back. All right, we're back. Hey, we're at 100%. Not too shabby. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's get our blur on. Just blur 150, 500. Don't go too nuts with this, and we're definitely going to stay away from the mountains. And we have to merge down, that's right. It's like, why is it working? At this point, just a little save methodology. If we are starting into, if we're starting into a combining anything, I always save a hard save, just as a general principle. All right. Ooh, way too much there. Way too much. I'll come out from there. Might be a little too much blur. I'm losing a lot of detail there, but that's okay. There we go. It's also going to give us some different mountains, some different areas there that looks really cool. Break up the land, create a texture that not only gives us a little variance in size, but also gives us a little variance in the shape of what it's doing. So we got our big river valleys. I'm kind of basing this one off of a good amount of maps in, I don't know, I've been on a Chinese history kick lately. I like oh, I'm just off. Kids are back in school from spring break. Pray they don't bring anything home. Then we'll go in and expand these with small harsh chaos. Again, if people don't like this technique or think it's not working, not a problem. I'm liking where it's going. I need to develop more. Again, hitting those limitations and see what other people are doing with it. But again, that's one of that's the primary reason I throw these videos is to share. So not making a buck right now with Ava Novus. We're developing, we're getting things done, but I think it's more about community than anything else. It'd be great to make a living off of it, but that'll come with a lot more stuff. Luckily, we're keeping our overhead very low by just being digital. All right, it's fun. Let's go ahead and get into our harsh chaos. Let's go hardwood. Yeah, pop this about 250. And at the top of these, we're just going to hit, just kind of place some here and there. Not too much. Keep our detail, but really blend these slopes together. Up here, though, heck no. We're going to keep that all crazy. Just come in, be very gentle with it. Near the peaks and plateaus, we're going to put something there. Just kind of a fun way to add different textures. Fun way to mix it up to, probably shouldn't have gone that nuts there. That's okay. Yeah, this definitely needs help down here. We'll come back to that. Actually, this entire area right here needs a lot of help, but I'll come back to that soon. And using a stylus on this, I usually like to do maps for people or techniques that they can use either, depending on their situation, a stylus or a keyboard and mouse. This technique, I'm really leaning towards recommending a stylus, big time. You have to be real gentle with some of this. For the most part, I'm really digging this. Again, I'm keeping the brush towards. I'm trying to stay out of the middle of it. Just blending the outside of it. It does to look like hands, and I do get it's a very newer, distinct look that, oh, it's fun to imagine what's there. How's the voice channel? We still quiet. Probably need to take this into Premiere and tweak some gain on it because I what I sound like in my ear, I'm really rasping. All right, let's go back over here. Same thing, staying away from the middle. Now we do have, just so no one's freaking out, we do have our mount layer above this that I haven't shown there. So we do have our mount layer here that is, oops, don't want to do that. That's now active. So we're getting this kind of cool little up and down thing. I don't know. You guys have seen a lot of the videos. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you don't like it. I'm just kind of mixing it up today. Some of these areas is kind of reversed a little bit, but I think it just adds to the flavor of the map. See right there, we kind of added mountains when there should be a valley, but I kind of like it, so we're going to keep it. Controlled explosions is what we're doing. A happy accident. When I was working with a lot of pyrotechnics, we'd call that going pear shape. There we go. Still have those mountain details. Just going to very gently blend this in. And again, this is all before water. This is just creating a high point and low point to kind of get an idea of where the rivers are and what they're doing here. Might, yeah, we'll probably be hitting the rivers here since we've been going about an hour and a half. My voice is taking a pounding. We'll probably do rivers later. But I'm getting some cool stuff here. I'm getting this kind of valley thing that I'm really digging. So let's go ahead and paint the whole canvas. Let's go for a lighter brown. Make sure our metallic's about 25. Anything more than 25, we're going to get in trouble. And I actually really don't like that. Let's go with a different color. That works. That works. Give us kind of an even sense of where everything is and how it looks. So we want to go in with these bigger maps and we want to take our time and paint everything. I just realized I have the mountains still on paint. We definitely want to take our time with this. We want to make sure that it's looking, that we can control as much aspects of this as possible. Something ArtRage really lends its to. It is very focused on adding color where you want and how you want. But that strat, I'm really liking this. I'm liking where this is going. I'm liking how this looks. Except for this little island that I've neglected right there. Because it's an island and I neglect my islands and I feel bad about those sometimes. It also changes things up. If I find something that's out of place, this is the best time to clean it up. The mount layer above this, we're going to get a little bit of brown on here. I'm going to just leave it in because I feel like it. But I'm really digging the textures. I'm digging the size of the land. It's giving me some ups and downs I really like. And then I can go in and I can standardize all the landforms, all the sign language, all the form language on this to something more consistent once I get the rivers in. I have tried playing with rivers. Rivers are nasty using a real life terrain alpha or height map alpha because they never do what you need them to do ever. It's like pulling teeth. So we're going to do those the old-fashioned way, how we usually have done those, and I think I get a good product off that. But these high points and low points, I'm getting some very fun things. Nice thing about doing campaign maps and stuff like this is that you can tech thing. Okay, sorry to respond to that sooner, Bill. I will see what's going on with that. It's probably something got unplugged. Or I got something. Oh, I wonder if it's my iPhone. Starting to really hate that dang thing. Unless Apple wants to sponsor us. All right. Check 1, 2. Yeah, I'll see what's going on with that. It might just be a setting flicking around. And second alarm went up. Yeah, no, audio's critical. Audio is very critical. In performing arts, you can get away with a lot of things with visual. You know, at 20 feet, you're not going to notice any type of details, but at audio, you're going to notice everything on it. So, there we go. All right, I'm kind of happy with that. I'm going to do one more thing here just because I feel like it. I'm just going to throw some gray on these mountains. Maybe add some mass to these mountains too. Let's try some mass on those. I can pop a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Don't be select about it though. All right there. Yeah, so let's go. I think I like the brown. I think I'm liking that brown a lot for this. That works. Let's go with that. Instead of doing that nasty square, let's go with something like this. Cool, cool. Let's very lightly throw that on. I'm using my mouse so I get a consistent amount of spray right now. Just gently pulling those out. That's giving my biggest peaks. All right, I'm digging that. We'll wrap up the stream in 5 minutes, and I'm liking that color. Still need to probably go in here and yeah, we need to retexture some of these. But we'll get into it. Hope this has been helping everybody. If anything, even if you're working with a program like Photoshop or with a program like ArtRage or GIMP, I think the coolest part of these videos that we do here is to show how you can learn and refine a skill set and not be stagnant in just using one process. It is, like you've seen, it's been, oh, I don't know, 3 months, and I'm still, the original process of getting here, took a couple of years, but I'm learning so much more with these live stream things. And I actually really appreciate the help on stream also, guys. Yeah, we're getting some cool stuff in there. And I'm just going really soft with the glitter. Nothing, well, not really soft, just adding mass on where I want it and making sure I'm not spreading mass on where I don't want it. I'm getting a very good, I really like this map. I was hesitant about it today, but I'm really, really digging it right now. There we go. Also, it is Easter. If you guys want to pick up ArtRage, it is 40% off right now. Should probably make a video on that just to give alert everybody. And yeah, 40% off, folks. And we're not getting. We do have an affiliate link. I'm not going to put it on this video because I don't think it would be. I really want them as a company to get the most out of their customers. So on sales, I don't usually link it, but definitely check that out. All right, I think we're in a very good spot. This Wednesday we'll start doing rivers. Who knows? We'll make something, and yeah, I'm really liking this. I'm really excited about where this is going. Cut this one part. This one part's bad, and I don't like it. It should feel bad. There. And I like it a lot better than that. There we go. Little dots. All right. I think I'm digging this one. So, started at 1. Excuse me, started at 1. It's now 3. I think that's going to be it today. We'll get this. We'll hit the rest of this next Wednesday. And as we're doing the rivers, we'll actually be world building at the same time. We'll be writing notes about where stuff goes. If you'd like to tune in, then I'd love to get some ideas. This map is going into our role playing game, our core setting of it. So if you want to help that build that world, tune in, give comments. If not, don't. That's cool too. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, visit us, blah blah blah. And thank you so much for coming in, and hope this helps. And enjoy everything. Drop us a line at Ava Novus on Facebook, email me, Twitter, all that good stuff. Thanks, and have a great day.